2 days into Genesys, and they were like, hold up, we gotta fix some things.
5, 4, 3, 2.
What's up, guys? It's Yugi Bros, and they have a first points adjustment, so let's quickly go through this live and in color. Chicken game is now worth nothing. Same with Dark World Dueling, same with Demise of the Land. So this is for the Exodia stuff for sure. This is, I think, for Mystic Mind decks. Oh, Shifter! Why is it still not higher than 10? Okay, but at least he's not 5 anymore, right? Dominus Spiral. So, okay, some of the Doom of Dimension cards are here. They said because Doom of Dimensions is out, this is a good time for an update. So, in my opinion, you should have just released this today. Announced it today, released it today. If you were going to send an update with Doom of Dimensions, or drop this list 2 days ago, even with the Doom of Dimensions cards, because they say they had this in the back of their minds further down. But how realistic is that? You know, like, it just feels like a lot of the things on here are the things that they either A, forgot, or B, saw people make videos of for 2 days in a row and were like, oh, hold up, we gotta go change some things. For example, Ouroboros went from nothing to 67. Either they forgot about that completely, or somebody made a hand loop deck and they were like, yeah, we need to shut that down. So that said, Dracotail is hit a little bit more now, which is cool. Spiral's a new card, a 0 to 10. Foolish Goods, unfortunately, needed to be on here because, like, that card's crazy. Into the Void is not 1, it is 3. 2 new K9s. Well, actually, 1 old K9 and 1 new K9, but the new one is K904 Nori, and Jokul is also here now. So this hopefully means that K9 won't be the best deck. Not to say it was already. I will say I do like that they're hitting good new decks early because they have their own format. That's advanced, right? This is for lesser decks and for more interesting, you know, diversity. So if you were to tell me that K9 Vanquish Soul was like the best deck in both formats, it's like, well, okay, what's the difference in playing either format then, right? So not to say again that this was the best deck, but you know, it got hit a bit more. Same with Kedu Dragotail. Left Arm Offering, yeah, definitely shouldn't be a 0. This one I actually don't know. Let me know in the comments why Dragonlane got hit. Lyrilusks, people were doing crazy stuff with that. Sigma, yep, probably should have been here. Multiverse, also I don't know that one, but I know it's like field spell related, right? And Metaverse makes sense. Harbinger 220 is a little annoying, but I'm actually more concerned about Dugaris going from 0 to 10 because this card wasn't the rank 4 of choice in everything that I was playing. Paradise Smasher makes 100% sense. I think they just missed this. Because it just got banned in advanced, and then it was at 0 points in this, and the CRs were like $2, and everyone's just like, why aren't we picking this up? This is free. So 67, so good thing they didn't go too high, because now it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. You can play it, and it's not 100, so you can play other things, but, you know. I think 20 on Future's too high, but, I mean, it is Utopic Future. Numbers of Eel, I don't actually know what this card does either. I just know that it gets played in some BS, so that's probably why it's there. 70, is that justified? Let me know. This is the wrong Makonko. Or no, this is the right Makonko. They put the wrong Makonko on the list first, so I think they'll take the other one off. I also find this funny. Is it Duo 2, Trio 3? Is that the joke here? Planet Pathfinder, yeah. Prohibition. They don't want you doing that. Same with Cyblocker, but he's obviously for 1 turn, so it's not as bad. Pseudospace, same reason, all the field spell stuff. Sales ban, I'm sad about because we were playing that in decks that needed to call, like Nibiru, for example. And this isn't a permanent floodgate, right? So they've seemed to make 100s out of the, you know, continuous floodgates, whereas this is only 1 turn, but it's also at 100. So by that logic, why isn't Droll and Lockbird also at 100? Or, you know, maybe not 100, but something higher than, what was it, 7, I think? And Shifter, why is Shifter only at 10 by that logic? Were the Star Seraphs crazy? Let me know. I did not see those being a thing. Rollback, should it be on here at some capacity? I don't know if Holic should be here or Trap Trick should be here, but I don't also remember if Trap Trick is already on the list or not. And then Holly Sue, yeah, I don't know why that was 0 before either. Costs going down. Here is the correct, or the incorrect Makonko. I don't know what this card is, but he's not here anymore, so it doesn't matter. 15 to 13 on a Zephyros. So you know what's crazy is if you asked me this on Monday, if 2 points was a big difference, I would have been like, nah, it doesn't matter. But after deck building for 2 days, yeah, 2 points is everything depending on the right deck. So welcome to see that this is not as high as it used to be. This scares me because now you can play 3 in a deck. But I guess if you're doing that, you're not playing much else on this list except for something that costs 1 point. Droll to 5 bothers me because I'd argue this should have been higher. You know how like Ash is 15 on this? That's something I'd argue should be lower because it only stops one thing, whereas this stops you your whole turn. If anything, this should be like 15 and Ash should be like 7 or something like that. But we'll see what happens. Glad rejection. Gladiators is hit a lot on the current list, and so I don't know if this dropping by 5 really makes a whole lot of a difference. That said, I feel like the deck really suffers from not having Test Panther. The other links it doesn't need, but Test Panther specifically was like really, really integral for that deck. So I don't know if that's hopefully this doesn't GBs doesn't see much play and then some of the stuff peels off. I'm a huge old GB fan from back in the day, so I'm a little biased there. But Duster to 30, Storm to 20. Yeah, the background stuff is rough unless you're playing like 1-for-1s like Cosmic Cyclone or Twin Twister, which is a 2-for-2. But I think these are fine. We don't need because Lightning Storm's 40, right? Thrust is 13, so I guess you could play like a slew of them if you really wanted to. Imperm, love to see this lower. I don't think this needed to be 15. Reborn, I feel like this card could be 5, and we still wouldn't play it. Meowls, sure. Premat, sure. I mean, Trunade is at, what, 40, and this is 25, and Premat has that beautiful ability where if you bring back a monster and then you bounce the Premat, the monster stays, so then you can activate Premat again and do the same thing over and over and over. If you have a way to consistently bounce it, this card's pretty good. But now you save 2 extra points with it. And then Return of the Dragon Lords, I didn't even know was on the list to begin with, so this is a card I also think could just come off the list, or maybe put it at like 1 or 3. And then they say a thing at the end where they talk about how updates are probably going to be somewhere in the 4 to 6 range, 4 to 6 week range for now, which I'd argue this is too early. Every 4 weeks, you got to let us like solve the format, but at the same time, there's always new releases like every 3 to 4 weeks in Yu-Gi-Oh, so like maybe it is enough time. 6 is a little bit better. I think what could be ideal is like back in the day, there was like a TCG year where there was 6 ban lists and they were every 2 months, and I thought that was like perfect for the amount of releases we had. But again, that said, this is kind of like the Master Duel setup right now, where it's like every 4 to 5 weeks on Master Duel. It's like once a month they get a new list. So could that be the better way to do it? I don't know, but I do like that they are saying that that's like the idea of it, but there's it'll depend on the data availability. It'll depend on the community. They're actually going to listen, which sounds crazy. And then they are actually going to require TOs to send deck lists, which I don't think used to be a thing. I don't know if you have to now. That's the other question. But they're going to use that as a way to determine where stuff goes. They also say, just talk in the usual places. We'll see it because they're Konami and they see everything. This is also a TCG thing to my knowledge only, not an OCG thing. In the past, with advanced like ban lists and stuff, they needed to always get Daddy OCG's approval before they could do anything over to the TCG. Like they could have a ban list pre-ready. They have to get OCG's approval on it, and if they say no to even one thing on that list, they have to like scrap it and start over, which is ridiculous. So if this is just them, I feel like they might not have to answer to Daddy OCG, in which case that's why they can listen to the community more and update more and, you know, do more things more. I don't know. But like they said, they're also flexible in the update schedule. If we'd prefer longer gaps, that can happen, or updates when there's new sets. They're going to listen, hopefully, to the community. So that's great. That's great. And then they talk about how Doom of Dimensions has a few cards already here as well. But they don't want to hit too many things, so they're going to let like the MST deck and the Doom Z deck let it thrive for a bit to see if that is too overpowered, and then if it is, they'll get back to it. But hey, what do I think about this? So again, I feel like if you were gonna drop an update that you seem so confident you were gonna do anyways, either announce this today or announced the updated list 2 days ago. That said, based on this schedule setup, it does not seem like we are going to get updates 2 days later, right? Now, we are in the beta, or the alpha. We're in the beta, right? We're in the testing grounds of this right now. So I understand that things are shaky, things are rocky, they're going to mess around with things for sure. I don't think it was smart, though, for them to drop an update 2 days later, because one, a lot of people aren't going to keep up with this, and two, like, it feels bad for the people that spent money on something like, let's say, Paradise Smasher, for example, or maybe Ouroboros if they wanted to do hand loop combo, and then immediately they just can't do it anymore. Like, you could have let this survive 4 weeks and then update, right? Like, even maybe 3 weeks and then update. Like, it wouldn't have been that bad. But, that said, hopefully this is not a consistent thing where they're going to do it a couple days later. Hopefully this is their addendum to fix specifics, and then from here on out, we will go to like a 4 to 6 week range until we, figure out what we actually want. That said, guys, what do you think about the updates? Leave your comments down below. I do know that, like, they do tell you to check out their deck builder for their updates, because they'll fix the updates on points on the deck builder first and then make an article afterwards so that the deck builder will always be updated. That said, Yu-Gi-Oh! Pro Deck has their own deck builder that does not crash, at least to my knowledge, like this one does, with points. And Dueling Book, if you try it out, has this cool little Genesys toggle now, where if you type in literally anything in the search bar, for example, let's type Kashtira in the description box, everything comes up with a Genesys total. Now, you can toggle this off and those go away, but if you toggle this on and it starts on, it gives you your total in your deck currently, and this green ring basically telling you whether or not it is legal or not. Now, this is set to 100. I'm sure they'll give you the option to change the point total in the future, but as of right now, it's set to 100. So let's say you wanted to play 3 Fenrir and a Unicorn. Uh-oh, now it's 120, you're over 100, and it's red. So it tells you can't play it. So you'd have to cut one to be in the green. I love this because now we don't have to go through that list and toggle F everything to see what's changed or what's new or whatever. You can just type in Teller Knight and clearly see that every single Teller Knight, except this piece of crap, is 0 points. Please drop this. This does not need to be 100. I understand once the new support comes out, it's a turn skip, sure, then change it to 100. But right now, this does not need to be 100. Konami. Nobody's going to play Teller Knights except me and maybe a handful of other people. But we have cool point search engines. Is this updated actually with the... Okay, this is not updated yet for the new list because this is now 13 points, not 15. Which actually is a big deal because Harbinger is now 20 points, not 10, and that screws up a deck I was working on. So make sure that whatever you're using to update its points, if it's not the official Konami one, has updated with this point adjustment. But other than that, guys, let me know what you think. Also, I feel really bad for anyone that made videos for the first 2 days because now, arguably, all their decks are pointless if any of these changes affects their decks at all. So have fun with that.